Hi, I wanted to come on and spend a few minutes for you. Are you on a journey for better brain health? Maybe you've never thought about it that way, but if you have had thoughts about brain fog, memory loss, Alzheimer's, or dementia, then your brain is on your mind. The sooner we can start taking care of neurodegenerative conditions, the better. Why? Not to start medicating, but to start adjusting our lifestyle, our environment, and how we're eating. So I follow Mark Hyman, who is a functional medicine doctor, Cleveland Clinic and Ultra Wellness Center, and he's actually said, and this surprised me, that there really is no such thing as dementia as we know it. That's just a name given for anybody who has memory loss, but it's not stating what is the cause of that. And he says there are many forms of dementias, and that dementogens are things that cause the dementias. And they can be some things that are obvious or not so obvious. So some of the dementogens that he shared in a webinar I listened to was diet. The standard American diet, which is an inflammatory diet and definitely not good for the brain, as well as certain foods like gluten and dairy that are allergens. Lack of sleep. When we're sleeping, our brains are cleaning themselves. There has been a new system that has been discovered. It's the glymphatic system, which is like, it's in the brain, and it's like the lymph system in our body that cleanses, and it's activated at night, which is why we want to be sleeping and taking care. It's critical that we're getting sleep, and so many of us aren't. We're pushing ourselves. Stress does not help the brain whatsoever. It doesn't help the body either. Environmental toxins like heavy metals, mercury and lead. And in fact, Dr. Hyman was saying how mercury is so undiagnosed. The doctors aren't trained enough to look out for that, and how that's a cause of a lot of issues that's going untreated. Lack of relationships, lack of social connections, lack of meaning and purpose. Now, those things really do help our brains decline. And they aren't just psychological or emotional. They have biological impact on the function of our brain and every part of our body. So something to take into consideration. Dr. Hyman also mentioned Lyme disease and mold exposure damages the brain, but they are treatable. Now, on another note, one thing that Dr. Hyman did recommend that would be helpful is exercise. I mean, there's a lot of things that would be helpful, but one thing he pointed out that I had never heard of before is with exercise, it activates the BDNF, the brain-derived neurotropic factor. That's like Miracle-Gro for our brain. So Dr. Hyman shared how Chris Christopherson, the actor, was diagnosed with dementia, but it actually turned out he had Lyme disease. And once he was treated with intravenous antibiotics, his dementia went away. So I want us to work on taking more control of our lives in these times that seem out of control. And here's a great way that we can start taking control over the function of our brain, things that we can adjust and change, because our genes are not our destiny. We have more power and control than we are led to believe. Knowledge is power, and I love sharing what I'm learning with all of you. And if this resonates with you, please find me. There's links here for the Medium article, for different ways to connect with me. And I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. Until next time.